Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video I'll share with you a rapid summary of a book that I recently read called Building a Second Brain. So here's a few details about the book. The author of the book is called Tiago Forte. The genre of the book is productivity and knowledge management. My review of the book, overall, I'd give it 4 out of 5. So a bit of background about the author. Tiago Forte has become an authority on knowledge management and productivity and note-taking. He delivers a very successful but also very expensive course named the same way as the book, Building a Second Brain, in which he teaches people how to efficiently and smartly capture and store their information so that these can become available for future projects. I believe he has distilled the key principles of the course in a book which is obviously much more affordable. This book you can get from Amazon, you can get as a Kindle book, you can also listen to on Audible, which is what I did. So, why a second brain? We live in an age where we're constantly being bombarded by information coming at us from all angles. Information coming from our phones, from our computers, from the news. We have no time and no capacity to process that information and make something meaningful out of it. What we need is to free brain space for processing and for high-level decision-making if we were to achieve any success in our lives. So this is the concept of the second brain. It's somewhere where you can store that information in a meaningful way so that you free that brain space to allow you to make decisions, to allow you to make plans, to allow you to process all the information that comes in. The second question is how? How do we build that second brain? And the answer is in a model or a method created by Tiago Forte called the CODE method. So it's 4 steps: C for capture, O for organization, D for distilling, and E for express. So we start with capture. This is your first step, and essentially you need to think about what sort of information you need to capture, what sort of information you need to collect. So obviously you can go around and tag or bookmark or save all sorts of things that come to your fingertips through social media or what have you, but then whether all of these will be useful or not is questionable. So you need to think, is the information I'm saving going to be useful in the short or long term? That's a key question. And if it is, then we have to think about what note-taking system we're going to use. So obviously our world nowadays is saturated by software, so you can use note-taking system in your phone. You can use newly developed products and apps such as Notion or Evernote. You can also use the good old analog system and do handwritten notes if you're that way inclined. Obviously, it's much quicker to search and find information in digital note-taking apps and software, but the preference is yours. Next is organize. So obviously you're going to take all these notes and save them. You need to find a way to organize them. We often fall into the trap of organizing things by subject, and we create a numerous amount of folders or tags, and as a result, things can get lost or missed when you come to look for them. The model that Tiago suggests is another 4-letter model called PARA, or projects, areas of interest, resources, and archives. So projects is quite key because in the short and the long terms we have projects, and if we save our information in an organization system based on projects, that will help us find them whenever we're tackling that specific project. Areas of interest, that can be a slightly broader system with all of our areas of interest, all of our areas of life. Resources, again, that can be broad. We can categorize or organize all the resources that we think we will find useful in the future. And finally, archive. So anything that we don't think is going to be immediately important or useful even in the long term, we can store in the archive, knowing that if we needed, we can go back to it for reference. Now, next is distilling, and it might be slightly confusing to try and figure out why is distilling a separate step from organising, but what distilling is constantly making your notes and your information efficient so that in the future, if you need them, you can easily find them. And what distilling does is making your notes succinct so that you can gather the main points without having to read reams of documents and information. So what Tiago in his book and obviously course suggests is you go through your notes on a weekly or monthly basis, look through the recently added notes, and then have a look, see what's important. So you can convert text into bold text, the stuff you think is important. You can highlight text. What he also suggests is creating a summary for a document or for each document. So that when you go back to find a document, you can just look through the highlights, you can look through the summary, which is much quicker, or you can look for a bold text. That helps you find stuff and also assess whether it's useful or relevant for the task at hand. Finally, express. And in Tiago's book, it becomes quite clear that we learn stuff by sharing what we know with other people. So all of these notes, all of these systems become of no use if you actually produce nothing out of it. So expressing is the ultimate step of that model. And he splits expressing in 3 stages. One is remembering. So obviously, like we said, remembering the information you saved in your second brain. The second stage is connecting. So you will have information scattered. Some of it may be related, and through your note-taking system, through your organization, you can find related stuff. And then finally, you produce or you create, and that's the third stage. You use the information in a meaningful way to create something, to share something with other people, to add value to other people's lives. And that's part of your own learning and knowledge. You can find the book in Amazon. You can buy it as a Kindle. You can listen to it on Audible. I'll link the book and I'll link the course as well as Tiago Forte's website, all in the video notes. And I hope you found this useful, and I'll see you on the next one.